Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 15 of season 2 of the F1 2021 Williams Road to Glory, where today we're here back. Of course, if you missed out on the last video that went live from Monza, highly recommend going back and checking it out. Of course, it's been a few days since the last episode of the Williams RTG. Of course, we've been smashing through the end of our My Team Season 6 career mode there. Of course, if you missed out on the last video from that series that went live from Brazil, highly recommend going back and checking that one out as well. But of course, a massive thank you to all of you guys as well for the continued support on the channel at the moment. You know, we're really now close to 42,000 subscribers. So yeah, if you're not already, please do leave a like and get yourself subscribed as well for more F1 2021 content. But of course, today though, we head back to the Russian Grand Prix. Now, of course, I feel like, obviously, due to ongoing worldwide events, we probably just need to explain this situation here. Of course, just like pretty much everyone else with any sort of sense, I'm completely against the war currently going on in Ukraine. Unfortunately, when I picked the full 23 race calendar for this season of the Williams RTG, this must have been back in like last November, before there was any sort of semblance as to what might have been going on between Russia and Ukraine. So this will definitely be the last time the Sochi Autodrome features probably ever on this channel, to be honest. I don't think we're going to be heading back here anyway if Russia is allowed to host a Formula 1 race again in the future. But yeah, obviously, like everyone else, I stand with Ukraine as well. But thought, you know, we'd better just push that one out straight away there. But you can see currently, though, R&D-wise, we've just dropped back behind Aston Martin this weekend there. We've still got a lot of upgrades, though, in the works there. 2 major upgrades, which, you know, once they all get sorted, should be pushed on to the car and bring us there. You can just see AlphaTauri, Aston Alpine and us. Just, there's nothing to separate us at this stage of the game. But, you know, we want to try and push up towards, you know, sort of McLaren and Ferrari by the end of this season. Still plenty of races to go of this season as well there. But championship-wise, we're currently still sat P10 and at P6 there in the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship, respectively. We desperately need George Russell, though, to try and pick up a few more points as well at the moment. But yeah, been a while since I went back to Sochi. Let's get into it then. Max Verstappen leads the way, though, championship-wise. 4 points ahead of Hamilton, so it's all still to play for right at the very top as well. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull. The choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like. Right, well here we are then, qualifying day back in Sochi here. Really looking forward to racing this weekend. Of course, mainly just because we had quite decent races here last season. Myself and George Russell both picked up decent points. I think it was 5th and 6th, I want to say, back when we went through quite a good spell later on in last season's campaign. Whether we'll see the same sort of form here today is a very different question there. George Russell has never really had the luck so far this year. His focus as well within the team has massively dropped. So whether he knows, you know, perhaps there's a call-up from Mercedes coming sooner rather than later. You never quite know what's going on inside the mind of George Russell here. But first lap so far, though, feels pretty tidy, as immediately Mick Schumacher sets the pace on a 32 flat. I'm sure we'll go quicker than that. Right in the final corners, though, fastest times now down into the mid-29s. We set a mid-30, so quicker than the Haas, slower than the Aston Martin. Pretty much where we'd expect, to be honest, is Verstappen now down into the 28s. Well, track seemingly picking up pace just a little bit more at the moment, but second lap then, gonna have to really decide whether this one's going to be worth it or whether it's going to be worth bailing out right at the very end. Currently only down in P16 though, so haven't quite extracted as much pace as I would have wanted out of the car. But yeah, like I said though, track rubbering in, there's going to be a lot more pace to find. Slingshotting our way out onto the back straight here, but only 4 tenths up at the moment. There has been a couple of mistakes on this lap, unless we nail these final few corners, which I don't think we have, to be honest. Yeah, I might just have to bail out on this lap then. Gaining a little bit more time there as we get a little bit ragged in towards the final few corners. There's definitely the pace, though, for a 29. In fact, this lap probably would have been a 29. But we can probably find a few more tenths there. Probably get down in towards the mid-29s. It's going to be all or nothing on this final run here at qualifying. The track now getting very, very congested as we're trying to get ready for our final lap here at qualifying. We're probably getting in the way of Valtteri Bottas just a little bit, but we've got to get on with it here. There's less than 30 seconds left on the clock. Let's launch it out of the final corner. And let's go then for a final attacking lap here of the Russian Grand Prix circuit. Activate the DRS as you head through the very much nothing corner of turn 1. I think we're just going to have to try and hope the Haas car in front gets out of the way. Braking a bit too late there. And this lap might have already completely unfolded there. Huge lock-up through turn 1 cost us a good quarter of a second. And that is not what we needed to start our qualifying lap here as we head through turn 4. We've got to keep going, though. We know there's pace in the car. As there we go, immediately back into the green. But Mick Schumacher now sat in the way as we're really trying to open up the track width there. That's not the best positioning from Mick Schumacher. And again, you can just see he throws us off slightly through the next couple of corners here. What a nightmare towards the end of qualifying here from Sochi. But we have to keep pushing. We should have just settled with the lap we'd already done. But no, I had to get a little bit greedy there, a little bit optimistic. It's always the way. Sort of that inner part of you that just that knows there's a couple more tenths on the table. You always want to try and push for perfection here as we nudge the wall in towards... Oh no, what's happened there? Big wobble from the back end. It's all completely falling apart here in the final few seconds of the Russian Grand Prix qualifying session here as we head our way through the S's. We are going to find a little bit of time, but probably lost close to a second on this lap there as we head through the final couple of corners, launch it through the final turn. And I think that's only P16. Heartbreaking there. But there was a lot of pace in the car still.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Verstappen, Norris and Valtteri Bottas. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
Well, there we go then. Lando Norris on the front row alongside Max Verstappen there. That was a fantastic lap by the McLaren man. Valtteri Bottas in P3 ahead of Perez there, and Hamilton having a disaster on the third row of the grid. Of course, heads into this one 4 points behind the Dutchman, so he needs a big result here today there. But yeah, we were a couple of tenths away then in the end from Kimi Räikkönen and George Russell, but like I said, probably upwards of a second available on that lap sooner. We could have been around the Ferraris, and Yuki Tsunoda in a Ferrari sandwich. Things you don't often say in Formula 1. But yeah, trying to look at the positives at the end of qualifying there. There's a lot of pace still available in the car. Let's get into it then here for the Russian Grand Prix.
Welcome one and all to today's Grand Prix here in southern Russia. A beautiful location besides the Black Sea and a race that has historically been dominated by the Silver Arrows. Mercedes have won here 6 times since the first race in 2014. Can someone else muscle in on that record here today? It's full throttle for around 56% of the lap here at the Sochi Autodrome, a 3.6 mile run around the site of the 2014 Winter Olympics. 12 right turns and 6 left turns give us a total count of 18, with passing opportunities available into turns 1 and 13. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat, Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Bottas, Perez, Lewis Hamilton and Gasly, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel, Stroll, Ocon, George Russell and Räikkönen, Mr. Monaco, Giovinazzi, Nikita Mazepin and Carlos Sainz, Latifi and Mick Schumacher, And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right, well here we are then, on the grid, ready for the Russian Grand Prix, and have already been boosted up one place by virtue of a Carlos Sainz penalty here, but 27 laps ahead of us though, one final time here from Sochi. Medium soft tyre wear has never really been a thing around this venue, so fingers crossed today we can keep it clean and tidy. Of course, a huge run down towards turn 1. I say it a lot on this channel, but we definitely need to try and get a good start here today. Then, as we've got Russell just in front of us, most cars around me on the mediums though, 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. Oh, a lot of already cars trying to make it 3 wide there as we head down in towards turn 1 there, and already you can hear wheels rubbing as we head through the first kink there, sparking away Yuki Tsunoda just in front of us as well. Kimi Räikkönen, as there goes Carlos Sainz down in towards turn 1. I honestly was wondering whether today we'd be able to try and keep Carlos Sainz at bay, but apparently not there, as Sainz got to make all the heroics through turn 1 there. Mazepin there trying to look up the inside at his home GP, and I think we'll just sort of crowd him out there through turn 4. Giovinazzi will regain the place ahead of his teammate once again there. But yeah, losing the 1 spot to Sainz then off the start here. But I think, yeah, early on, obviously starting on those mediums, surprised that we haven't really seen anyone else go this way with the strategy. Means that we're just going to have to be careful. Desperately need to try and settle down into a rhythm here and not lose the DRS to the cars in front, because this could mean later on in the day we could be absolute rocket ships in comparison here, as Kimi Räikkönen maybe thinking about trying to line up a move on Carlos Sainz. You know, perhaps he wants his Ferrari seat back as we head down the back straight though. No, Räikkönen gets a little bit caught out there as we have a look up the inside of Carlos Sainz as well. No idea what the Ferrari was doing, and whether Sainz has picked up a little bit of damage from that big dive down at turn 1. I reckon he might off here, because around the outside of Sainz we go, down through the final few corners of lap 1 there, and that's a cheeky double overtake. That means rather than losing 1 place, we've gained 1 on the opening lap here. Verstappen, though, leads the way at the end of lap 1. But we are up into P14 there. George Russell, 1.2 seconds clear, though. We're going to have to try and close at the gap to our teammate, who's on softer, quicker tyres.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
DRS enabled then as we start lap 3 of the GP, and the gap to Russell is just going up ever so slightly here, but I've been quite impressed so far with our pace, as yeah, Räikkönen and Sainz, no idea what is going on between those two, but they are just dropping away immediately and probably holding up the Alphas and the Haas cars, which never happens on F1 2021. But yeah, we just got to focus on the long game today. Feels like we say that pretty much every video at the moment, but it is quite funny how often, you know, just sort of being patient early on really rewards you on F1 2021. Taking a lot of risks out of the final corner, just trying to get within that 1 second range of George Russell there, but again, it hasn't quite happened. This time around, we're just a few thousandths away from the zone. Yeah, really trying to push hard, but it's not happening early on here. All it takes is 2 cars at the front of a train to really start backing up a whole pack of cars here.
Let's not stay behind this car for long. We need to get past.
And I think it is Charles Leclerc and Yuki Tsunoda that are still duking it out at the front of this train, so we will now be within the range of our teammate there. As there we go, Leclerc and Tsunoda darting around in towards the first corner. Probably 2 of F1's most aggressive drivers. But who is going to come out on top in this situation? It looks like Tsunoda has hung on for now, so maybe Ferrari really haven't got a car that works this weekend, and this could mean massive gains for McLaren in the championship. Lando's still running up in P2, so that qualifying pace appears to be here to stay this weekend. But yeah, look at how immediately we just get back a whole lot closer, and we can read the Safina logos on the back of that other Williams. Wonder if we're just starting to see a little bit of a crossover period as well between the softs and the mediums here. Like I said, tyre wear is normally not that big of a thing around this circuit, but tyre delta between these 2 compounds often isn't that much either, as we're now going to go side by side there, just like Leclerc and Tsunoda up the road. George Russell hangs on strong though, but we do the switchback on our teammate there and say thank you very much. We will now claim P13, unlucky for some, hopefully not us today there, as now Tsunoda under pressure. Charles Leclerc's made the move work. Sebastian Vettel is now trying to see if he can make a move work as well here in this GP, so it's all kicking off early on here. We've now got the Alpine of Esteban Ocon as well, watching his teammate just sink positions and fly back down the order here as Charles Leclerc probably just going to wave goodbye to this whole train of cars. That must mean Lance Stroll, who scored just 2 points all season, is hanging on to the back of Hamilton in a Mercedes, which is kind of insane to think about. But F1 2021, it does pretty weird things here as we head out onto the back straight here, gaining now on Esteban Ocon as why the AI. I hate it when they lift off into that corner there as Russell almost thought about sensing a move back up the inside there, but the AI sometimes lift off through that DRS zone there. I think they just don't believe the back end can hang on, and then just decide it's not worth risking when it definitely can in a Formula 1 car, especially the cars with this much grip on F1 2021. But yeah, not what we needed there, but fingers crossed we can look to try and move past the Alpines soon. Start a lap 8 then, trying to see if we can make a move on Esteban Ocon in this Grand Prix as we head back down towards turn 1 there. Ocon going defensive. Tsunoda's lost the DRS though to the cars in front, so he might be vulnerable quite soon as well. We did the move once on our teammate George Russell. Can we now do it to Esteban Ocon as we head through turn 3 there, still side by side with the Alpine? And no, haven't quite got enough momentum to hang on around the outside there. Of course, a much longer radius around the outside through that corner, but nice to know we have the confidence in the car, because I probably wouldn't have tried that last season against an Alpine there. But this Williams has just come on leaps and bounds throughout season 2. Apparently not leaps and bounds enough that I can't avoid locking up into that corner, however. Getting another nice run on Esteban Ocon as we head down the back straight. Is he going to lift out into here? Yes, he is. Thought about making a move again in towards the braking zone like we did on lap 1, but thought better of it this time round. So yeah, through these final few corners, this car really does seem to come alive against these Alpines. I don't know what it is, but there's just some slightly different lines there. All the fact those medium tyres are just working a little bit better. So we're going to try and get a run at the final corner. Tsunoda though, yeah, definitely under a lot of pressure from the pair of us at the moment.
For a new strategy option.
Team recommending new strat. They want us to go 1 lap longer, so clearly they think the tyre life is better than we thought it would be. Ocon though this time around isn't going to go defensive back down towards turn 1. Yes he is! Oh, we have to overshoot the corner. Otherwise I was worried then we were going to take out Yuki Tsunoda in the GP there. So actually had to let off the brake, and that's going to let 3-4 cars through in that moment, and that got a little bit close for comfort early on in this GP there. Tsunoda, I'm sure, a little bit scared there by a Williams flying in towards turn 2, but I don't think there was any damage for anyone, and we all get out of it okay. That has, however, made me a little bit more hungry again to try and gain some positions in this GP. Kimi Raikkonen not opting to take the slipstream of the cars in front of him, and he is going to lift out again in towards the corner there as we almost cream into the back of our teammate George Russell, just like he almost did to us earlier on today. Lap 9 though, we're already 1/3 distance into this Grand Prix, and it feels like a lot has gone on. So now we're going to try and get a run out of the final turn. Let's see if we can try and move back past our teammate George Russell. He seems to be running a lot higher wing than me. Look at this, right around the outside through turn 1 there we go. Ocon and Tsunoda now start to apply pressure to each other, and we're basically back to where we were just 1 lap ago here, as now we've really got the bit between our teeth here, as these soft tyres are definitely starting to reach the end of their usable life. Ocon just trying to hang on behind his teammate Tsunoda. As look at this, now we're going to try and go on the offensive somewhere where he wouldn't expect. Up the inside we look. Ocon again though being super aggressive, but this time round has to admit defeat. And we now move up into P12
Brilliant.
Of this race.
Nice move.
Team happy with that one. Tsunoda now not far in front of me, but Sebastian Vettel has been able to give himself a lot of free air in this GP and a lot of room to maybe make an error here. But Tsunoda, only car with this gaggle that hasn't got DRS, so we should be able to gain on him rapidly as we head down the back straightaway here. Here we go. Yuki Tsunoda got nothing top ender in that car and bails out of it in towards the braking zone. Looks like we've got our first car into the pit lane as well, and it's actually race leader Max Verstappen. That seems awfully early for the Dutchman to be making a pit stop there, but Tsunoda has also chucked it in to the lane. Yeah, that's rather early.
Front is 14.9 seconds.
Should still be able to make it to the end of the GP, but it just means that he's probably going to get caught out in a bit of traffic here This might open up an opportunity for Lando, Sergio and Valtteri Bottas still, who I'm pretty certain is hanging on to now P3. Well, I guess Verstappen then wasn't that early into the pit lane. Looks like a lot of cars are now starting to do the same. 10. George Russell into the pit lane, and we're now suddenly up to P4.
George in the pits.
So Lando Norris still leads the way then, ahead of Bottas. Yeah, he was hanging on to him and Checo. Verstappen, though, clear out in clean air. He's probably, set to dominate this one, but he might have to try and navigate his way around me. And often, the Dutchman and I seem to have had more controversy in this series than in the My Team story. Are we going to see the other 3 cars into the pit lane then at the end of lap 12? They've done pretty well to pretty much go half race distance on those tyres there, but Verstappen on mediums, so it looks like everyone is probably going to be adopting that strategy. But we are now going to inherit the lead of this Grand Prix there. Verstappen, new fastest lap of the day though, down into a 31.8. We might, you never know, we might be able to get close to that later on in the GP on some slightly fresher, quicker tyres there with a lot less fuel in the wagon. We've taken a couple of fastest lap bonus points this year. When we do the alternate strat, we can often get close. Verstappen's starting to get a little bit feisty there. Just, you know what the Dutchman's like. He wants to make a place as soon as possible. But he's got 10 seconds to Lando Norris behind him. He doesn't need to take any risks at the moment. And to be honest, I'm kind of just hanging on so we can at least get 1 lap led on the board today. I'm sure heading back down towards Turn 1 he's going to get a run. And of course, yeah, we're not really battling in him. So we may as well just let him have the spot.
We're leading our teammate by 27.1 seconds.
20 seconds ahead of George. 27, sorry, seconds ahead of George. So we should still come out ahead of our teammate here. Unless something goes disastrously wrong. But here comes Max Verstappen. Up the inside he goes. And was rather hoping he'd actually get the move done slightly sooner. As dirty air there really meant we struggled to put the power down. Start of lap 16 then. Tyres really now starting to fall off towards, I mean, they haven't hit the cliff, but they're getting close. So we are going to tell the team we are going to be boxing at the end of this one. Don't really want to get sort of roped into Lando and Valtteri Bottas's battle. Just sort of want to, yeah, get in ahead of them and then see where we re-emerge here. I think we should be around sort of Sebastian Vettel still. Might just be behind whichever Alpine is fairly close to him. It looks like George Russell has jumped the other one, which is nice to see. George often this year has kind of had the pace in the car, but just hasn't really had the luck or been able to make the move to really get ahead of, you know, the likes of the Alpines, the Aston Martins, and the Alpha Tauri's. There, he's ahead of Kimi all day long. We just need to see him really start to score points.
No tyre concerns at the moment. Just focus on the driving.
Well, we've got tyre concerns, Jeff. The concern being I want to get onto some softer, quicker rubber here as we head into the pit lane. Pretty nicely slowed down into the box, but where are we going to re-emerge then in this GP, and how many opportunities are we going to get in the second half of this race? I always forget it's a 37-mile-an-hour lane here, as Hamilton, yeah, still sat in P6 there. That would be a hammer blow in the Drivers' Championship, but fingers crossed, nice clean stop. 2.5 is not bad, but not brilliant here, as Tsunoda is going to come out ahead of us. Are we going to re-emerge, though, ahead of George Russell?
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
Let's wait and see. They're trying to use battery as we head out of the pit lane here. And we are just about going to re-emerge ahead of our teammate here. So Tsunoda should be catchable by the end. But, yeah, I think Sebastian Vettel's got to be the goal here. Won't be a big opportunity for points today. Just had a rough qualifying and then that mistake early on. But definitely feel like we can close up a few spots.
Pace is strong, but be aware your tyres need to go the distance.
Right, let's try and see how close we can get to fastest lap then here. Could really do with the bonus points if possible. But yeah, Sebastian Vettel, we've already taken a second out of him, but we are using the best of this tyre life early on. It's really now taking time out of Yuki Tsunoda here. This is why I like to go with the alternate strategy, but we are going to sit in the dirty air a little bit as we head through the final corners. How close to that fastest lap time are we going to be? I think it was a 31.8 by Verstappen. Oh, a 31.9.
Second of the car ahead. Get ready to use DRS to overtake. Gap.
But we are going to use DRS.
4.5 seconds.
And we're pulling away now from our teammate here, side by side with Tsunoda, as we head back down towards turn 1. And oh, just that little bit of an overshoot there again. We almost made contact with Yuki down towards turn 1, and I think that's going to put pay to a fastest lap attempt here. We could have really tried to go for a good one with the DRS there on the young Japanese driver. But yeah, not pulling off the move, so we're going to have to wait again and try and pull it off down the back straight. But we've definitely got the pace, but all this is doing is giving Sebastian Vettel time to breathe. As now again, we're going to try round 2. The Alpine, not a fast car down the straight, so Tsunoda is pretty powerless here as he tries to go defensive. We almost go the same way down the back straight, but we will get the car slowed down and make the move up into P11 then of the GP. And all of that, Stroll now has been jumped by Charles Leclerc, so he might be dropping back into the clutches of Sebastian. It's going to be us versus the Aston Martins late on here in the race.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
Knew I still had it in me late on in the day here, but 6 laps to go then from Sochi. We do claim fastest lap here, but the gap's still just under 2 seconds to Sebastian Vettel, but he is now fully within the range of Lance Stroll. They start battling. We've got a golden opportunity. Will Stroll be able to take away more points here, or is he just going to have to try and settle for the 2 he's already scored this year? 5 laps to go then. Are we going to see Sebastian Vettel trying to make a move on Sir Lance? Here we go. Seb to the inside in towards turn 1. And let's just try and make sure we hit our marks here as well. Stroll takes a lot of curb on the exit, but that immediately puts us in within 1 second of both cars here. I wonder what Lawrence Stroll is thinking. Well, actually, I can probably guarantee what Lawrence Stroll is thinking at the moment, and that's Seb, let my boss score some points. But yeah, now we've been given a lifeline here in this GP as the tyres starting just to struggle a bit. We haven't got much ERS though, so really just going to have to make decisive moves late on in the GP. But Aston Martin tripping over each other might just give us a chance. Really now trying to apply pressure to Sebastian Vettel. Are we going to see the Aston Martin get a run back on his teammate?
Manage your tyres.
Could we try and get 2 for 1 here as the tyres? Yeah, definitely starting to bleed just a little bit. But look at the speed we've got.
12.3 seconds.
Sebastian Vettel tries to go defensive on me, but we got to try and get it slowed down in towards turn 1 there without going into the back of his Canadian teammate there. And we say thank you very much. Sebastian Vettel gets squeezed out. Very, very robust move there, but no contact. I think we'll take that one rather happily. But now Lance Stroll, the car separating us and P9 here. Surely he's going to be a bit of a sitting duck. Yellow flags out down in Sector 1. That's one of the Haas cars going slowly here late on in the race as we're still trying to close up to Lance Stroll. Is it the other Canadian of Nicholas Latifi that might be out of this Grand Prix? He's all over the road. It is no Mick Schumacher out here at Sochi. And now Stroll, he's just trying to hit his marks, do everything he possibly can in this race. Sebastian Vettel is bringing himself back within the range, but like I said, surely Lance is just a sitting duck down towards turn 1 here. We've got so much speed down the straights. We have run quite a low downforce setup this weekend there, and it seems to be paying off as we have a look towards the outside of the Canadian. There gives me a big old squeeze. We just about get the car slotted back in, and we do make the move work there, get it slowed down in towards turn 1, and we're now up into P9 then of this Russian Grand Prix. I said it would all come back to us, as where on earth is Mick Schumacher parked?
Caution.
Got yellow flags out still. The Haas car has tried to do as best a job as possible, but not brilliant there from Mick. But now
Clear.
we've got 2.5 laps, so we just need to hang on and just keep Stroll at arm's length. Well, round in the final couple of corners then, about to start the last lap of this Grand Prix, and Max Verstappen, he is absolutely dominated here at Sochi. Retook the championship lead last time round at Monza with a historic win for Red Bull, and today he's kind of just said, you know what, Mercedes have had such a good run round here, I'm going to completely shatter their hopes this weekend. Now Hamilton has had a torrid time of it, currently still sat I think down in P6 in a Ricciardo Pierre Gasly sandwich, and Bottas, it's always a bit of a worry when Bottas is Mercedes' big hope, because he's currently way off in P2 there. Looks like Lando Norris, though, will claim a podium for McLaren, which we haven't seen too often this year. It's always nice to see, you know, when it isn't just Mercedes and Red Bull locking out the podium. But our tyres really starting to go off here. Like I said, we're just trying to keep Lance Stroll at arm's length. We were never really going to be able to form any sort of gap over the Canadian on these final few laps. Please don't stack it now, though, Matt. in the last corners of this Grand Prix there. But Max Verstappen, he's going to come through to win here in Russia and further extend his championship lead. A brilliant day for Red Bull here, as we've now got Lance Stroll trying to close up the gap in towards the final few corners. Oh, he did think about it. There was contact there. Stroll trying to go for a move in towards the final corners. Bottas comes through for P2 ahead of Lando Norris and Sergio Perez there. Gasly, I'm sure he'll be getting a pay rise from Red Bull, keeping Hamilton at bay all day long to come through for P5. Hamilton 6th, Ricciardo 7th, Charles Leclerc 8th, but we're going to round the final corners from 15th on the grid. We come through for P9.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
So as they climb out of the car, the Red Bull team are ready and waiting to celebrate a thoroughly well-deserved win. And, talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. They pushed and found some fantastic performance. It was just a pleasure to watch.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Well, I guess you can say at the end of that, I'm a bit of a moron there. That's why you don't do donuts or spin out of the final corner there, because Lance Stroll, turns out, took me by 0.03 of a second there at the end of the GP. But it is Max Verstappen, though, that takes home the dub ahead of Bottas and Lando Norris. Their Perez in P4 means Red Bull make good gains in the Constructors' Championship as well. It's an outside chance, but they have still got a chance at that championship there. Gasly 5th ahead of Hamilton, Ricciardo, Leclerc. Stroll does end up beating me, and then we do come through ahead of Sebastian Vettel for, the final points-paying position there. But, with that fastest lap bonus, we do still get 2 points at the end of the GP. That is your final race order there. Mick Schumacher, the only man not to make it to the checkered flag. And then championship-wise, Verstappen suddenly goes from second in the championship to a 21-point lead as we head through this flyaway season there. Bottas still hanging on in P3 ahead of Sergio Perez there. Gasly with that good result re-jumps both Ferraris as well in their little battle going on. Lance Stroll even, I should say, gets more points on the board as well for Aston Martin there, and that means constructors-wise, no movement. But Red Bull just 53 back now from Mercedes at the top there. We're still not able to close up the gap to AlphaTauri at the moment. I think that's going to be a very, very tall order when you consider just how quick Pierre Gasly is at the moment. But thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. If you have enjoyed it, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we'll be back very, very soon with more F1 2021 content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.